All right, I'll start in just a second. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. We'll start out with Corey here. So we got some hands raised, so we'll go one at a time, one question at a time, and get through as many people as possible. We got about 5-ish minutes with each of these guys. So let's start out with Dan Hope from 11 Warriors.
Hey, Corey, just wanted to ask you, being a walk-on and being somebody who's, now entering your second year in the program, just, what's it like, kind of having an opportunity to, maybe show what you can do this spring and have a better chance to earn a little playing time?
It's a lot better this year compared to last year. Last year we got caught up with COVID. Didn't necessarily have a spring ball to get out and show what I could do. But this year, now that COVID is starting to come to an end, or we're getting the back half of it, we have a spring ball now. So it's good to finally get out there and try to prove myself and see what I can do. Try to find a way to get on the field.
All right, let's go next to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Corey, a year ago at this time, Cade Stover was just making the transition into the tight end group. I'm just curious what sort of progress you've seen from him over the past year and why, I guess from your perspective, that's a difficult position to maybe transition to mid-career.
He's gotten a whole lot better. He just got off of COVID, so he's getting back in. And I think today they had him at 75% back at it. But he stepped up a lot. He's starting to get the playbook down and everything. But it is very difficult going from linebacker where you're trying to get off the blocks to tight end where you're having to make the blocks, get out on routes and catch the ball. So I think he's progressed a lot. He's come a long way.
Next up, we'll go to Bill Rabinowitz. Bill?
Hey, Corey, can you just kind of describe the process by which you decided to come to Ohio State? Might have been programs where you would have been assured of more playing time.
So I wanted to go somewhere that I could get in the spring. I didn't want to wait until next fall. I kind of want to go somewhere in the spring to learn the playbook and try to prove myself. The only two colleges that accepted in the spring was Ohio State and Florida State. And then Florida State, they just had fired Willie Tabbert. I think that's his last name. And he got fired and let go. So that whole staff was going to be cleaned out. And we basically just had all our marbles in a jar at Ohio State, prayed about it, and Lord bless me with this opportunity.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All righty, next we'll go to Austin Ward. Austin?
Corey, you're talking about some of the maybe difficulties and challenges that you face learning this. I mean, how would you describe your comfort level in this spring compared to that uncertainty of a year ago at this time?
That's a great question. I feel a lot more, I wouldn't necessarily say comfortable. I feel a lot more confident, I guess you could say is a better way to put it. Now that I finally have the full playbook in front of me. Last year was just hectic because of COVID, obviously, and we didn't have the spring balls to go out there. I like to learn plays running through them. I can't just have a playbook in front of me and just learn it like that. So run through the plays out there this year is getting a lot better. And being around the guys a lot more and the coaching staff, a lot more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot better, I'll just say that.
All right, let's go next to Joey Kaufman. Joey?
Corey, when you had to transfer here, you went from a situation where you were on scholarship to having to walk on. Did you have just any apprehension about sort of that change for you?
Not a whole lot changes. The only necessarily thing that changes is you got to make the most of every opportunity you get. As a walk-on, you don't really get that many opportunities to prove yourself. So you got to step up to the plate the second your name is called, and you got to make the most of it. So.
All right, let's go next to Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Corey, when we talked to Coach Wilson a couple weeks ago, he said that from watching you, there's probably a role for you in this offense. Could you kind of elaborate on what you're doing, how you're kind of fitting in with this group of tight ends?
I'd probably necessarily say probably close to goal line stuff, I would say. Goal line and run blocking stuff. I'm more of a wide tight end and not necessarily an H. We got faster, lighter guys than me to get out there and move better. So more of a hand down tight end.
All right, let's go next to Tim May. Tim?
Yeah, more of a hand down tight end. Were you looking for the word comfortable more than anything else a while ago?
That would have helped. It's been a long time since I've had an interview like this. Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you though, two quickies. Number one, what is it that you have to do at that position to get on the field to play that you've figured out over the last year? And then number two, who have you been going against on the other side of the ball that's caught your eye? I'm talking about from a pass rush standpoint or just a run blocking standpoint. Who you haven't? Who's standing out as in terms of tough to root out of there?
It all boils down to trusting your technique, trusting your coaching. Your coach teaches you the steps and the technique and the hands and how to shoot them, and it's all about you to finish it. It's your job to take what you see on the film to the practice. And I would probably say, the upcoming starters have stuck out a lot. Tyreek and Zach Harrison, they're starting to step up a whole lot from what I would say.
All righty, and last question for Corey. We'll go to Griffin Strom. Griffin.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Corey, I was just wondering how you might have seen Jeremy's role in the tight end room kind of change or evolve maybe as a leader this spring. I know you guys are kind of just getting underway, but now the guys like Luke and Jake have moved on from the program. How has Jeremy kind of stepped up?
He's a leader. He's one of the best that's ever come through here, and we're trying to give him the ball a whole lot more. He can do a lot of great things when the ball is in his hands. So trying to get more throws to him, get more routes. I guess the route tree opened up for him. So we're starting to throw him in a lot more.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, Corey. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
And folks, we'll have some more guys coming out. We're expecting Jeremy Rucker, Mitch Rossi, Cade Stover, among others. So hold on one sec.
I don't want to sit in there. There you go. No, it's just you. Yep. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I take that off.
Yeah. You scoot up a little bit if you could, Mitch.
All righty, folks. Well, everyone say hello to Mitch Rossi. Mitch is gonna start us here. Let's have Austin Ward lead it off. Austin.
Hey, Mitch, can you take us through a little bit of your journey here? We haven't got to talk to you all that much, but your name comes up a lot with Coach Wilson, and it seems like there's a role that can continue to maybe expand for you.
Yeah, it was just kind of lucky to get the opportunity, honestly. Me and Max went to high school together at Franklin High School in Tennessee, and he got the opportunity to come for a visit, and I just came up with him, and things kind of just fell into place, and just kind of been keeping my head down and trying to take advantage of every opportunity since then, whatever form that takes, basically.
All right, let's go next to Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Mitch, could you take us into kind of the role that you've been playing within the tight end group? I know different guys kind of do different things within your room. What is it that people could kind of expect from you when you're on the field?
Yeah, so Coach Wilson really likes to utilize me as more of like a fullback or the H position. So kind of more hand in the ground, kind of the old school kind of stuff that he used to do at Oklahoma with some of those guys, kick out blocks, power schemes and everything like that, pulling on counters. So it fits my skill set a little better. So that's how he's been utilizing me.
All right, let's go next. Dan Hope. Dan.
Hey, Mitch, I think, last year you might have played the most of any of the walk-ons. So do you kind of feel like, a responsibility to kind of, be a leader for the walk-on group here?
Yeah, definitely. It's really hard to come in and kind of try to find your way as a walk-on. So the guys that really helped me, like CJ Saunders and people like that, I try to do that for the younger guys coming in and try to help them, find their way and find a way to find their role and get onto the field.
Alrighty, next up, let's go to Dave Biddle. Dave.
Hey, Mitch, can you talk about some of the new tight ends that are in your room? Some of the guys that maybe have moved positions or some of the young guys, how they're coming along?
Yeah, well, we just added Sam Hart and Cade came over from the defense. Those guys have been working really hard, getting with Coach Wilson, kind of big time development position. So just in the off season, trying to work everything, body position, hands, feet, to get ready to help us out next year.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll do two more. We'll go to Nathan Baird. Nathan.
Hey, Mitch, you mentioned Cade, and I'm curious because, like you said, he came over from defense last year. What's maybe the thing that's impressed you the most about the transition he's made in the course of that year?
Yeah. I like the way that Cade plays. I like his attitude. He's kind of an old school football player, and I enjoy kind of the energy that he brings. And he's very athletic guy. Like he played offense and defense in high school, so he's really made the transition well. He's got great hands, good ball skills, and everything. So he's been a big help for us.
And last question for Mitch. We'll go to Tim May.
Yeah, Mitch, you ever wonder why they can't just call you a fullback sometimes? What's the rub there? But what is it that you especially like about blocking people? I mean, can you explain it to people?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would like to be a fullback. I think that's a good fit for the job description for me. I think the thing that we value the most more than catches or touchdowns is knockdown blocks. That's the thing that we like, the stat that we like to keep track of the most. So anytime we can put somebody on their back and move somebody, a grown man, that's really what we enjoy. That's what we pride ourselves on.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch, for your time. Really appreciate it today.
All right, y'all.
All righty. Next up, we're going to welcome in Jeremy Rucker. All right, Jeremy, thanks for spending a little time with us. We'll start this one off with Bill Landis from the Athletic. Bill.
Hey, Jeremy. Corey was on earlier, and he mentioned that they're trying to do some different stuff with you in the receiving game, and said that the route tree for you is expanding a little bit. I'm just wondering what are some things maybe you're doing now in this spring that perhaps you haven't had the opportunity to do in the past as it relates to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you worded it pretty good. I think it's kind of the same stuff we've been doing. It's been in before, but I think we're kind of really focusing on it a lot more now and getting more opportunities. So I think that's the biggest thing going into this year is that we're really just trying to give us more opportunities in the passing game because I think we've proven that we can produce and help this team in any way, especially in the passing game.
Alrighty, next we'll go to Spencer Holbrook. Spencer.
Jeremy, when you talk about that, now that you feel more as like a complete tight end, you can block, you can catch the ball. Do you just feel more comfortable this year? I know last year you were on the field a lot, you were more comfortable, but now that you're in that leadership role and you've completed, like, I guess, the development of becoming a complete tight end, you just feel like you're really settled in?
I'm definitely a lot more confident in that aspect, but positions you never really comfortable where you're at. You know, keep developing, and there's a lot of things I could still get better at, and I'm just really trying to work on that a lot during the spring and this off season. So I mean, definitely a lot more confident, but I wouldn't say that I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Alrighty, next up, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Jeremy. You've been a good team player throughout your career. You've been content with sharing the role with a bunch of talented players. You're the guy this year. Obviously, you'll get some help, but you're the number one guy, clearly. How much do you look forward to that? And what do you think you can do this year?
I mean, I'm just going to try and, like I said, like the years before, just try and do anything I can. And if this year it's putting myself in more of a bigger role, then I'm definitely excited about that and willing to do anything they ask. But we got a lot of young guys stepping up and really proving themselves and developing still. So I don't think tight end position isn't much of a worry as it seems in the media, but I know that we're going to come out and do our best, and I'm just going to do everything I can to help us win.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty, next we'll go to Austin Ward. Austin.
Jeremy, when you talk about, the route tree and getting more opportunities, is there a part of you as a tight end at Ohio State that has been here long enough that you have to wait to see it to believe it in the fall and not just in the spring?
I think maybe a little bit of that, but mostly it's just really putting in the time with the quarterbacks. I think that's the biggest thing is getting on the same page as them and really trying to work on our timing and the trust aspect of it. And I think just seeing what we've done in the past, me and Luke, whenever we need it, our numbers being called, we usually come through and just tell them that whenever you need us, we got you. We'll be your security blanket. Whatever you want us to do, we'll do. And I think the biggest thing going into this spring and this off season is just being there for them and really showing them that they can trust us and just work on our timing.
Alrighty, next up, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Jeremy, can you take us inside your decision to come back for this season a little bit? What was the main factor that convinced you that you wanted or needed to come back for another year? And was any discussion of your role in the offense with the coaching staff a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a discussion, but I'm not one to just come back and say I'm only going to come back if this happens. I mean, it's a two-way street. So if I wanted more catches to come my way, then I need to put more work in the offseason, trying to enhance that part of my game. Early in my career, I really needed to learn how to put weight on and block really well and get physical. And now that we're kind of there, just trying to enhance all different aspects and make the little things the bigger things. So, I mean, I knew I had more to give to this team and this university, so I definitely wanted to come back. And I think the decision to come back is only just going to help me, the team, and everybody else.
All righty, we'll do a couple more. We'll go to Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, Jeremy, just following up on that last question, was there an ultimate factor that kind of swayed you to come back?
I think the main factor was just that I knew I had more to give. I wanted to just give everything I had, and I feel like I didn't want to just leave on that note and explore. I had opportunities past this, but I definitely wanted to just make the most of it here and let everybody know that I got more to give to this place, and I'm going to do everything I can for this year.
Alrighty, next up, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Jeremy, when you kind of think ahead to, beyond this year and, playing in the NFL in the future, what do you think are the things that you still need to improve on, can improve on this year that can ultimately help you succeed at the next level?
I think for example, just looking at Luke, how consistent he was in the blocking game, I think that's something I really want to work on. He, as you see now, all these teams talking about how no one really blocks in college at tight end, and to be that consistent as Luke was, I want to try and emulate that and be like that. I was really, I had some really, really good blocks and some bad ones. So I want to just be more consistent and not be so hot and cold and keep trending upwards. So I think that's like the biggest thing I want to work on, is just trying to be the most consistent player I can be.
right, we'll do two more. First one to Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Jeremy, we know we're going to see you on the field a good amount, but how important is it to find that second tight end to play kind of that 12 personnel that I know you guys like, and who do you see kind of stepping into the role you filled last year alongside Luke?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna be an interesting conversation this year. We got a bunch of guys really coming on strong and developing, with Cade and Joe and Mitch really being those guys in there. They all can do all different things very well, and just kind of versatility of our position this year is going to be shown more than ever with different scenarios, different guys doing different jobs, and I think it's just going to put the defense a little bit more of a conflict and really put our guys in the best position to do what we do best.
All right, last question for Jeremy to Tim May. Tim.
Jeremy, it may sound weird, but is there a part of like coming off the edge as opposed to coming out of the slot that you have to like really work on a lot, from a tight end situation? I'm talking about running routes, et cetera. And is there a part of that game that you're working on this spring? If you follow my drift, being more consistent. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think one thing that I'm definitely trying to work on is making a lot of my tendencies look the same, not really trying to give away anything. And like you said, when you're attached to the line of scrimmage, you want to make them think that you're trying to block them or point someone out or something like that, something small. But it's a lot different with space and timing once you're inside or outside. You got to be a little bit quicker once you're inside to get to your space or your zone. So I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I'm really just trying to work on all those things, my timing and making sure that I'm getting there the fastest I can in the most efficient way.
Thanks, man.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
All righty, and next up, we're going to be joined by Cade Stover. All right, Cade, thank you very, very much for joining us. We'll have Nathan Baird be our leadoff hitter for this one. Nathan.
Hey, Cade, kind of maybe take us through what this last year has been like for you and making the transition from, I think, someone that everybody respected as a football player to a tight end who can help this offense.
That's a good question. It was tough at first, I guess, but I mean, coming from the offensive side of the ball in high school helped me out a lot. Once I got the ball back in my hands and got through the mental part of it, it went pretty smoothly.
All righty, let's go next to Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Yeah, Cade, what do you think are the biggest things that, maybe you didn't know about playing tight end at this time last year, but you've now improved on now that you have a year of development under your belt?
Just the whole mental aspect of it. I mean, high school, it was pretty much just give you the ball and you find space and do it yourself. I mean, here, a lot more. I mean, you're a lot more under control, a lot more rules you got to follow here, and you got to play within the system.
All right, we'll go next to Austin Ward. Austin.
Cade, we saw you in that, first week of spring a year ago, and it looked like you were catching the football a lot and making an impact, but we knew there was a long way for you to go, and then everything disappeared for a long time. And how did you feel like the setbacks and the schedule for last year impacted you as you were trying to make, a little bit of a transition there?
I didn't really look at it as a setback, to be honest with you. I mean, I was home. I was working out there. I was working just so hard as would be here, just without the practice, I guess. So, I mean, it definitely hurt not having it, but I mean, nothing I can do about it, nothing anybody can do about it. So I just took that one step at a time.
All righty, let's go next to Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Cade. You guys lost a couple good players from your unit last year. How big a role do you think you can have? Obviously, Jeremy's a holdover, but there's opportunity there. How much do you think? How much do you want to seize that?
I mean, as always, want to seize it. I mean, the goals here is, just help the team as much as you can. Do it, whatever's possible for me to help this team win. So if that's a big role, that's a big role.
All righty, next we'll go to Joey Kaufman from the Columbus Dispatch. Joey.
Mitch and the coaching staff has kind of talked about kind of the need to find that second tight end to play more 12 personnel. Is that something that you have really kind of taken to heart as well?
I mean, yeah, I'm taking every rep I get, making the most of it, and we're just going to go from there and see where that goes.
All righty, next up, Tim May. Tim?
Yeah, Cade, I was wondering, when you get the ball in your hands, what just goes through your mind? And although you were trying to play defense at one point, you're back on the offensive side, obviously. But what is that transformation almost you go through mentally when you got the ball in your hands? And What tractor would you compare it to?
What tractor I would compare it to?
Yeah, I'm just messing.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. Probably a JCB fast track tractor. That's probably the fastest tractor. So, but
Is
no.
that the one with the treads on it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. But
Go ahead, though. I mean, what is it like when you got the ball in your hands? Do you feel more like a football player? I don't know. Explain it.
I feel good. I've looked at myself as always. I mean, sometimes people say, I mean, versatility can get you in trouble because you get pulled around in different positions, I guess. But I mean, I think I found the home here, and I'm happy to be here. I'm comfortable with the ball in my hands in space, and just like high school and running back days, I feel good with the ball in my hands.
Thanks, man.
All right, I got time for two more. We'll first go to Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Did we hear a lot about tight ends have to be able to block, and then kind of the receiving part comes afterwards? Jeremy was talking about how he, continues to work on that. What area was most difficult for you when you got to the offensive side of the ball, and how do you feel you've improved since?
I'd say more of the route running was because I never really ran routes. I never played tight end before, so that was as far as getting your footwork right and stuff like that. The blocking, once I got my footwork down, I had the physicality. So, I mean, that's always helped me coming over from the defensive side. So I'd say the the receiving was probably the biggest learning curve there was.
All righty, Kate, we'll wrap it up with Griffin Strom. Griffin.
Hey, Kate, I'm just wondering, I know you said it was tough at first. Can you walk us through what your first reaction was when you were first told that you were going to move positions? And was there anything frustrating about that for you, knowing you'd have to learn a position that you weren't, already playing?
No, it wasn't frustrating. I mean, yeah, there were frustrating moments along the way, but I mean, that comes with everything. I looked at it, I mean, I enjoyed learning a different position and learning new stuff. And I mean, just expanding my knowledge of the game and just getting better preparing for the future.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kate. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And we're going to wrap it up with Joe Royer. All right, Joe. Thank you. Thanks, Joe, very much for joining us today. We'll lead Joe off with Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Dan.
Hey, Joe, just, being 1 year into the program now, just where do you feel like you've grown the most over the past year? And what do you feel like, you'll have an opportunity to do this season?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think I've developed and improved on was blocking, because coming out of high school, I didn't really do much inline blocking. I pretty much played receiver. I was flex out all the time. So definitely blocking, and have to get better at that, so continue to grow in that aspect.
All righty, next up, let's go to Nathan Baird. Nathan.
I just kind of wanted to expound on that a little bit, Joe. Coming in as a guy who has more of a receiver background and then having to become a Big Ten tight end. I mean, what was maybe the biggest eye opener for you that first year or the first weeks or months on campus or with the team, as far as how big of a gap there was for you?
Kind of funny story. Very first practice, I was trying to cut off Zach Harrison, and he probably pushed me back 10 yards in the backfield. And that's when I kind of realized I had to get my weight up, get stronger, and kind of get better in the blocking aspect.
All righty, let's go next to Austin Ward. Austin.
Joe, a lot of what you're describing with getting bigger physically, getting more solid as a blocker, sounds exactly like what Jeremy went through when he got here. How much how much does he talk to you about that process? I know you're in the same room, so I imagine it happens a lot, but describing his journey and how he's trying to help you.
Yeah, Jeremy's technically my big brother, so I look up to him in a lot of ways, and he always helps me through things. And he's given me different ideas to help me gain weight, get stronger in the weight room, tell me what his meal plan is, what he prepares, and that's definitely helped. So yeah, I look up to him, and he's been helping me through that.
All righty, we'll go next to Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row. Spencer?
I guess going off of what Austin just asked, does that kind of give you some confidence to know that he was able to make that transition and make that jump to where he is now, and you can see yourself on a similar path?
Yeah, that's definitely helpful, knowing that he kind of went through what I'm going through, continuing. And Coach Wilson's also mentioned that Jeremy kind of was like me, a little skinnier coming out of high school, and definitely had to gain some weight to be successful blocking here. So yeah, that definitely helps.
All righty, we'll go next to Brendan Gulick, BuckeyesNow on SI.
Hey, Joe, I guess I'm interested most about, your impression of the last 12, 13, 14 months and just how challenging that was for you as a first year guy and maybe how it made you stronger dealing with some adversity that was obviously beyond your control and what you think you can, do now with that experience.
Yeah. So coming out of high school, I was kind of always just kind of show up and like do my thing, I guess, and be successful. But coming here, definitely have to work on many different things, like physically, mentally, spiritually, getting mind, body, and soul right. And then with COVID, that was tough. In the summer, like my first couple months here, I was kind of like all alone, quarantined with COVID, so that was tough. Getting used to things and having when it's not being normal. So definitely that, and just kind of getting the hang of how Coach Mick is and like what they expect in the weight room, and also like Coach Wilson out on the field.
All righty, we'll go next to Patrick Murphy. Patrick.
Joe, what's your expectation for yourself this year? Obviously, we know Jeremy's role, we know Cade's in there, but there seems to be an opportunity for that second tight end in 12 personnel. How do you see yourself kind of fitting in? What do you see your role in the offense being?
Well, first I'm trying to get on the field somehow, so trying to get on like special teams as well. But yeah, I'd say I'm being more used as like an H-back, kind of more receiving tight end. So hopefully I can get in some snaps and like 12 if Jeremy's at Y or Cade, and kind of be more of like the receiving guy.
All righty, we'll do two more. We'll go first to Bill Rabinowitz. Bill.
Joe, I was kind of interested in your answer about the Zach Harrison thing. When he did that, what was that day, the rest of the day like for you? I mean, was it like, oh boy, what have I got myself into? Or was it like, how'd you deal with that?
It was like, I was like, wow. And I realized like how hard I have to go being a little undersized. So I definitely have to try to go harder than he is. And after that, I just kind of, Coach Wilson just kind of looked at me, gave me a face, and just like telling me like, this is how it is. So but the rest of the day was fine. I didn't really let that bother me too much. So I was still trying to compete out there.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Tim Nash. Tim.
You probably know more than anybody just sitting there watching this guy, but why is Jeremy Rucker, do you think, considered perhaps the best tight end in the country coming into the 2021 year? What have you seen about him that just stands out? If you had to explain to people what makes him different, what makes him special?
It's just obviously how he performs out on the field, that speaks for itself. But seeing him in practice every day, he's always trying to get better. If there's like a problem on a player, an issue, he always comes back and tries to talk to Coach Wilson to figure it out. And just all the little things, like he's always in the training room, getting his body right, eating right, and just trying to stay healthy. And he's just a good guy, just all around.
Thanks, man.
All right, awesome. Joe, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for being on for 90 minutes or so. Again, we don't have control over that practice time. But thank you all for being on. We'll come back tomorrow with looks like it's just going to be Coach Barnes and about 3 of the veterans in the secondary. Same time. What? I forget what I said time-wise. 11 o'clock. Yeah, we'll do 11. I don't know what kind of meetings they have in advance of that. Trying to talk to internally here with letting you guys see a practice as things are starting to open up more and more. Those discussions are being had. So anything I can